Form 1. Second term. English language. Skills in non-fiction. Unit 4 and Chapter 1. An abuse of sport. Contents. Vocabulary. Comprehension. Spelling, grammar and punctuation. Objectives of the lesson. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to improve their reading skills, develop the knowledge about hunting wild animals, learn the vocabulary, identify suffixes and how to add them to root words, define an adverb and an adverbial clause. Vocabulary. Today, our lesson is about hunting wild animals. So, let's go through the words before going through the lesson. First word, bagging. What is the meaning of bagging? It means shooting. Second word, advertising. Do you know the meaning of advertising? It means drawing attention to. Third word, enlisting. Enlisting means securing. Next word, abound. It means are plentiful. Next word is tall. Do you know the meaning of tall? Yes, it means numbers. Next word, entailed. Entailed means involved. Indiscriminate. What is the meaning of indiscriminate? It means those who make no distinction between. Next word is revenue. Revenue means money or income. Next word, privilege. Privilege means right or advantage. Next word, unsound. Unsound means false. Next word is abuse. Abuse gives the meaning misuse. Last word, bestir. It means rouse or exert. Turn page number 58 of your non-fiction book. Unit 4. Chapter 1. An abuse of sport. Dennis Finch Hatton was an aristocrat who went to British East Africa in 1910. As well as farming, he led safaris into the bush so that rich visitors to the country could kill wild animals. With the invention of the car, keeping up with these wild animals was made easier and much wholesale slaughter ensued. In 1928, Finch Hatton wrote to the Times newspaper to express his concern at what was happening. Denny Finch Hatton was a nobleman, a person from the ruling class with nobility and money. He went to British East Africa in 1910. He was engaging in farming as well as he led safaris into the bush, into the forests. He started organizing journeys into the forests. Because of that, rich visitors who came to the country got a chance to kill wild animals. When the car was invented, it became more easier for them to keep up with these wild animals. As a result of that, they began to engage in the selling animals for slaughter. Here, slaughter means killing animals for food. Anyhow, in 1928, Denny was writing an article to the Times newspaper to convey what was happening there. So he was having a complaint about hunting of wild animals. It's page number 59 in nonfiction. An abuse of sport. Shooting visitors to East Africa who are anxious to fill their bag as quickly as possible are becoming increasingly numerous. Most of them want to get a lion, and many of them do not care just how it is got. Here, as the writer says, the number of visitors who came for shooting to East Africa was increasing in large numbers. Their one and only purpose was to get a lion. Most of them did not worry about how it was got. Let's read the next part. At present, there are not many easier or quicker ways of getting lion, with other game thrown in than by taking a motor car to the Serengeti plains. Then they had found a very easy and quick method of getting a lion. That was to get lions by taking a motor car to their usual place, Serengeti plains. Of the 70 lions which we saw, we should have no difficulty in bagging more than half. Out of the 70 lions, they saw it was not difficult for them to shoot more than a half of it. That method was quick and easy for them. They did it misusing motor cars. Let's read the next part. We actually took away 5 lion skins and were obliged to shoot 2 lionesses in the process of getting one of the lions. They have managed to get 5 lion skins and shoot 2 lionesses in order to get 1 lion. That means in order to get 1 lion, they have killed 2 lionesses. Next sentence. Other parties are not so easily contented. So when the writer compared this ability with the other parties who came for the same purpose, they say that the other parties were not so easily reached their target. So they were somewhat satisfied and happy with what they got. Next sentence. I have heard of one party which came away from a fortnight's trip with nearly 30 assorted lions, lionesses, and cubs, an orgy of slaughter. So the writer had heard of one wild party who had a fortnight's journey, and they were successful in getting 30 assorted lions, lionesses, and cubs too. I'm reading the next part. My friends fear I may make matters worse by advertising this district in this article. My reply is that the district is already known by too many to try and save it by keeping quiet, and it is in the hope of enlisting the assistance of those who can bring influence to bear that this is written. Here the writer says, by advertising the name of the particular district in this newspaper article, his friends might feel fear. But he says that it was no longer a secret, as many people already know that district. So if he kept quiet without revealing this, then it would be helpful for the people who could bring a vast impact. It would be a kind of security for them. So that is why the writer has mentioned these facts here in his article. Next sentence. It is possible for sportsmen to get lions by ordinary hunting methods over the greater part of the Tanganyika territory. In many districts, they still abound. As the writer says, sportsmen were possible to get lions using common hunting methods in the greater part of Tanganyika territory. In many other districts too, it was still existing. Next part. But I can only think of one possible reason for not closing this district for lion shooting, on the score of the toll taken by lions from the herds of the natives. So the writer is providing reasons for not closing this district for lion shooting. Why is that? Sometimes it can be because of the number of deaths taken by the lions from its natives, like zebras and other wild beasts. Because animals like lions, they are surviving by hunting other animals. Next sentence. But wherever there are zebras and wild beasts in large quantities, lions are not inclined to take the risk entailed in killing stock, especially when the herdsmen are able to give as good an account of themselves as the Maasai in their encounters with wild beasts which attack their cattle. When the zebras are and other wild animals are in large numbers, lions normally hesitate to take the risk of killing them. Why is that? Because they are in large quantities. Next sentence. I saw the carcasses of 2 lionesses killed by Maasai, one at close range by a spear, the other by a poisoned arrow. The writer has seen 2 lionesses killed by Maasai. Maasai are the members of pastoral people living in Tanzania or Kenya. So, these 2 lionesses were killed by the Maasai. So, how they were killed? One was killed by a spear. Spear is a kind of a weapon with a pointed tip. And the other lioness was killed by a poisoned arrow. Last sentence of the first paragraph. The Maasai of the Serengeti Plains would appear to be well able to look after their stock without the assistance of indiscriminate sportsmen. So the Maasai of the Serengeti Plains, they are able to handle this without any help, assistance from the indiscriminate sportsman. Let's move on to word level work. Spelling. Adding suffixes to words ending in E and Y. Do you know what is a suffix? A suffix is a single letter or a group of letters added at the end of a word. Simply, it is a word ending. Example: es, ed, er, ing. Here, these are word endings or suffixes. Suffixes can form another word, and they can change the meaning of a word too. If there is a word ends in silent E, it means the E is not pronounced. So, if we add any suffix to words ending in E, there are some rules to follow. Let's see what are these rules. Rule number 1. When a word ends in silent E, keep the E if the suffix begins with a consonant. Example: like plus ly becomes likely. Look at this example. The word like ends in silent E. The consonant ly begins with a consonant. So, when you add ly to this kind of words, you can directly add ly at the end of the word. These are some other examples for the words ending in silent E. First example: use plus the suffix less, useless. Care plus the suffix ful, careful. Hope plus the suffix less, hopeless. Complete plus the suffix ly, completely. Achieve plus the suffix ment, achievement. As you can see, all the words here end in silent E, and all the suffixes begin with consonants. So, you can directly add the suffixes to the words given here. Rule number 2. When a word ends in silent E, drop the E if the suffix begins with a vowel. Example: drive plus ing becomes driving. Here you can see, even though the word drive ends in silent E, the suffix begins with a vowel. So, when you add a suffix to this kind of a word, you need to drop the letter E and then add the suffix. These are some other examples for the words ending in silent E. First example: use plus the suffix ed becomes used. Hope plus the suffix ing, hoping. Come plus the suffix ing, coming. Rotate plus the suffix ed, rotated. Value plus the suffix able, valuable. As you can see, all the words ending in silent E and all the suffixes begin with vowels. So, before you add the suffix, you need to drop letter E and then add the correct suffix. Now turn page number 61. Part A. Add a suffix from the box to each of the words below to form a new word. Watch your spelling. The suffixes in the box are ION, MENT, FUL, LY. Here you are given 12 words and there are 4 suffixes in the given box. So you need to add the relevant suffix to the word correctly. As an example, first word accommodate. The word accommodate ends with silent E. The suitable suffix is ION and it begins with a vowel. So, what do you need to do the correct word? You need to drop letter E and then add the suffix ION. Then the answer is accommodation. Rule number 3. When a word ends in Y, change Y to I if the suffix begins with a consonant. Example, happy plus the suffix NESS, happiness. As you can see, the word happy ends with Y and the suffix begins with a consonant. So, you need to change Y into I and then add the correct suffix. Remember children, that rule cannot be applied when adding the suffix ing. Here you are given 2 examples. Let's read them. First example, reply. You can see the word reply ends with letter Y and the suffix is ing. So, you can directly add the suffix ing to the word without any changes. Then it becomes replying. Second word, destroy. The word destroy ends with letter Y and the suffix is ing. So here also you can directly add the suffix ing to the word without any changes. Then it becomes destroying. Now turn page number 61. Let's do part B. Write the root words for each of the words below. Here you are given 9 words and asked to write their root words. As an example, first word, ordinariness. Here the root word is ordinary. Sentence level work. Grammar and punctuation. Placement of adverbial clauses. Do you know what is an adverbial clause? Yes, an adverbial clause is a subordinate clause that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another verb. The usual position of an adverbial clause is just after the main clause. Here you are given an example. John went home after we finished our lunch. As you can see in this sentence, the main clause is John went home. That is the main action here. The rest of the sentence, after we finished our lunch, has become the adverbial clause. So, it is clear now the adverbial clause has placed after the main clause in this sentence. Adverbial clauses can also be put in front of the main clause and are separated from the main clause by a comma. Example, after we finished our lunch, comma, John went home. Here you can see in this sentence, John went home is the main clause and after we finished our lunch is the adverbial clause. But the adverbial clause has placed before the main clause using a noun after the adverbial clause. So, it is clear using a comma after the adverbial clause, you can make them appear before the main clause. Now turn page number 61. Part A. Copy out the sentences and underline the adverbial clause in each sentence. Here you are given 5 sentences and asked to underline the adverbial clauses. First sentence as an example. Finch Hatton bought a farm when he went to Africa. So children, you can find out now what is the adverbial clause here. Yes, it is when he went to Africa. Here in this sentence, the adverbial clause is when he went to Africa. Let's do part B in page number 62. Change the position of these adverbial clauses so that they come at the beginning of the sentence. Example, hunting is a very popular sport, although many people do not agree with it. Now children, you all know what you need to do to get the adverbial clause at the beginning of a sentence. You can put a comma after writing the adverbial clause and then write the main clause. So the answer is, although many people do not agree with it, comma, hunting is a very popular sport. My dear children, now we have come to the end of our lesson. So, hope you all understood the lesson.